I love Super Mario Galaxy. It is my favorite game of all time. And the moment I saw that they were making the next Mario movie based on the Galaxy games rather than being based on Super Mario World, as many of us were expecting, it had me excited. 3 years ago, I watched the first Mario movie and ended up enjoying it for what it was. The power of hindsight has made people look at the film much more critically, mainly the audiences, as this criticism has always been there for said movie, where the story and pacing was the forefront for said criticisms. I came back from the theater today after watching the movie. I was already made aware, thanks to Twitter and Ken Krista's podcast, that critics were not as generous to this movie like the first film. In fact, the difference is we are now 15% down on Rotten Tomatoes this time around. I did not watch this film expecting a masterpiece for narrative. I expected a film that had cues from the Galaxy games, but still had the similar style and tone as the first film. And I was correct about that. If you're going to be watching this movie, do not watch it with the expectation that it will be a super deep narrative like the first film, and do not expect the pacing to be improved. The narrative for the film is focusing a lot on multiple perspectives, shifting between Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, then with Peach and Toad, and Bowser and his relationship with Bowser Jr., with Rosalina having a couple of moments to herself. But I don't expect her to appear that much, especially if you're a fan of her character. The films heavily rely on you being a fan of the source material, or being a younger viewer, or being in a setting with a family in order to enjoy it. Just like the first film. And similar to the first film, there are plenty of references, including more in your face references to Nintendo outsiders, most notably Fox McCloud from the Star Fox franchise. The cast from the first film mostly return, except for Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, as he is not in the film. I particularly enjoy Jack Black's return as Bowser, as he was genuinely the highlight of the first film, and enjoyed Benny Safdie's take on Bowser Jr. and the bond he and his father share in the film. It's a dynamic that many fans of Mario will definitely enjoy, as the movie portrays the two as caring for each other, with a loving father who wants his son to be just as evil as he is, and a son wanting to impress his own father. Brie Larson does a good job portraying Rosalina. It was made clear to me that the statement of her being a Nintendo superfan was not an exaggeration. As I can recall, she has been a fan of Nintendo for a long time, and it does at least show with her performance, where she manages to pull off the role for Rosalina well, having a divine but also motherly performance, with her interactions with the Lumas being particularly cute. Donald Glover portraying Yoshi was something nobody could have expected, and I honestly think of all characters, despite Yoshi not having too much plot relevance, he was genuinely very entertaining and had some genuinely fun moments. When it comes to how Yoshi acts in this film, his behavior in the film is not too far off for how he acts in the series as a whole. I think another strong performance is Glenn Powell as Fox. Fox as a character has had multiple voices over the years, and I believe this voice strikes a good balance of sounding deep, but also high pitched enough to match the cool space pilot vibe. I think he did a great job portraying the character, and I enjoyed how he was characterized in the film. Though I can't be the authority on how he's characterized, as I think Star Fox fans will have to do that job for me. I'll give praise to the visuals, just like the first film. Matching the grand look of the Galaxy games was certainly a tall order, but they pulled it off well. The film is pure eye candy, and as somebody who loves animation, it's something my eyes were glued to, especially when I decided to try and pay attention to any small details that they added. Many people will scoff at the fact the film heavily relies on references to the source material, but I never mind it as I'm somebody who enjoy references like this. Choosing the reference even the most obscure thing that most people won't notice unless you really look for it just makes analyzing a film much more fun. But I understand that over-relying on references can ruin a film for some. To me, though, Mario constantly pandering to nostalgia is nothing new, and it's something I, as a fan of this franchise, is used to by now. I get it. Seeing an 8-bit Mario sprite over and over again can feel annoying. But again, people like me won't mind, but I get why some fans complain about it. This film is not perfect, but overall, I enjoyed it well enough. If you are a Mario fan, I would recommend you give it a watch. If you watch films for a compelling story and you are disappointed by the narrative and or pacing of the first film, I do not believe this film will win you over. If I had to rank it on a scale from F to A, I'd give it a B-. It's enjoyable if you watch it expecting another Mario adventure on the big screen, but do not watch this expecting a grander story. Anyway, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed my first film review. See ya. Bye.